Ash, if you could, just your thoughts about the match.
Yeah, tough one. Obviously, it's never nice when you have a couple of opportunities to serve out a match and can't get it done. But look, a 6 in the third is brutal. It's a tough one to swallow, but it is what it is tonight. I found a way back into the match. I found a way to really turn it in my favour and just wasn't able to quite finish off. So it's disappointing, but we'll move on.
Okay, thank you. Ben?
It just seemed like she was playing with a lot more sort of control in her game maybe than usual, being a little bit less aggressive, keeping the ball in play, and not making very many errors. Just how different was that from what you're used to seeing from Shelby, and what were your adjustments to that adjustment from her?
Yeah, it's pretty slow and dead out there on Ash at night. It was my first experience kind of playing at night there, and it does make a pretty dramatic difference. And credit to Shelby, she was able to adjust to those conditions a lot quicker than I did. And I played a pretty awful first set in a sense where I was erratic. I couldn't quite find the rhythm of how I wanted to play, but I found a way back into the match, and I found a way to turn the match back in my favour, and to have two opportunities to serve it out and be within a couple of points is disappointing not to get it done. But, I was able to find a way to adapt to those conditions, which is a good thing. We weren't just able to quite get the result tonight.
And then just in terms of first time on Ash at night, what was the atmosphere of your first night session on Ash? Like, that's a pretty unique thing in the sport.
Absolutely incredible. The crowd was awesome. They gave me energy tonight, and I know that obviously playing an American here is a lot of fun, and I had a lot of love tonight as well. So it was really enjoyable to play out there with Shelby and enjoy that both together, because it was it seemed pretty chockers to me. It seemed pretty full, and it was a lot of fun out there.
All right, Court.
Courtney Nguyen, WTA. Ash, it seemed like part of how you were able to turn things around, it seemed like the rallies were getting a little bit longer in that second set, early in the third as well, to build the lead. Then towards the end, it seemed like Shelby was starting to get the better of you on the longer rallies. Could you identify any sort of change or something shift that kind of flipped that switch a little bit?
Yeah, I think when I was struggling to find the court and kind of find my patterns in that first set, I wanted to change something, and for me it was to turn it physical and try and run myself into the ground a little bit and find that feeling through pure volume, and I was able to do that, and I think that change kind of confused Shelby a little bit, just because it was such a different match to what we've typically played before. And yeah, towards the end, even the the 5-2 service game, I played a pretty poor service game. Shelby had a lot of looks at second serves, and in the end, I think that game put some oxygen into her lungs. And then at the 5-4 game, we played some long points. I didn't play too many bad points. Shelby came up with some really good stuff when it mattered most. A forehand lob off a chisel at 30-all, you tip your hat and you say too good. Like, I think there are a few things tonight that I'm happy to accept. There are some things that I'm disappointed in, without a doubt. But in the end, I just didn't quite have enough in the tank. And I've left everything out on the court this year, and it was no different tonight. I just didn't quite have enough to get over the line, which is disappointing, but we move on, and I sleep well tonight knowing that I gave everything I could. It just wasn't quite enough.
Craig?
Ash, there's Craig Gabriel at 9 Radio. Some of those points you just said about being disappointing, can you pinpoint was there a string of them, or which ones were like really important for you that could have turned things around?
I think when matches get close, and typically towards the end of a third set, there are so many big moments within little moments, and every point felt like there was a lot riding on it towards the end there, and that's natural. That's normal for when a match gets so tight towards the end, and you know that the finish line for both of you is kind of just there. There are a few that I played some good points and I just wasn't able to quite execute. I felt like I got probably 3 or 4 forehands that I wanted and wasn't able to quite take advantage of them, and that's all right. I felt like I set those points up well and just wasn't quite able to execute. So there's a lot tonight that's disappointing, but there's also a lot that's positive, and certainly not a match that I'll dwell on for too long, in a sense of there are so many what-ifs millimetres could have changed things tonight, and you accept that in tennis. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you move on from it pretty quick.
Jerry, was there an element of nerves
tonight?
At any stage? Or?
No, I felt comfortable on the court. It was an awesome experience to play on Ash at night. It's an incredible atmosphere, and playing against Shelby and sharing that with her was really cool. I'm not sure if it was her first time as well, but it was a pretty full crowd. It was fun, and I think that that tension is natural, but I felt fine. I just didn't quite have enough physically or mentally in the tank, but that's okay. Like we've had a great year, and so far, and we're looking forward to celebrating the good stuff that we've done, learning from the hurt, learning from the experiences, and moving on.
Okay. Willie and then Ben.
Willie Weinbaum from ESPN. Given how long you've been on the road and what you've accomplished this year, what are your thoughts about everything that's taken place through this time in 2021?
Yeah, I mean the last 6 months have been a roller coaster. I think back to the very first match that I played on this trip, and I was 5-2 down in the third set in the first round of Miami. So I mean tennis has a funny way of evening things out, doesn't it? And I think that I've played a bunch of matches this year where I've come from a breakdown or late in the set, or opponents trying to serve out the match, and it's sometimes you get to and fro. I mean, you can't win every single tennis match that you play, and I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my team for all the efforts that we've put in over the last 6 months. It's been absolutely incredible. I don't think we could have asked for much more. Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing with all of the tough moments that we have had. It's created some of the most enjoyable experiences, and I've learned so much about myself, about them, the way that we work together, and it's been truly an incredible 6 months.
Okay. Ben, and then we're going virtual.
You talked a couple times about moving on. Just wondering what your schedule is from here on, like how you're feeling physically and what sort of how full a schedule you want to play now that you're entering maybe the home stretch of this long voyage of yours.
Yeah, we're probably not quite sure yet. We'll let this settle and kind of rest a little bit now and take stock a bit. But for us, it's like we would usually do after every bigger tournament or every kind of phase of the year. I feel like the slams, you're kind of building up to it, and then afterwards there's a reset. So for us, it's no different. We reset now. We go back to the drawing board and then work out what we want to do for the rest of what's left for the season.
But probably like Indian Wells, you imagine you'll play?
Yeah. I'll be there.
Okay. We have one question online. Chris, you are live.
Yeah, it's Chris Otto with US Open. Sorry for a tough one tonight. I wonder if you can comment briefly about Shelby and the character win she was able to get tonight. You've obviously got to know her pretty well this year, defeating her 4 times. And I'm thinking it must have taken a lot for her to be able to come back from 5-2 down and be able to gut out a win against someone like you.
Yeah, there are certain people on the tour that I think no matter the result, you know that you're always going to get a genuine handshake. You're going to get a smile. You're going to get that genuine respect. And for me, Shelby has always been one of those people. She's one that I respect. One of the most that I respect on tour, and she's an incredible person. And tonight she showed a lot of fight, and I could see that she was enjoying herself. And I think that's the most important thing for both of us, that we had a lot of fun out there. And I know that regardless of the result, it never changes our relationship, and that's really special when you've got someone who is just a class act off and on the court. And it sucks in tennis that there's a winner and a loser every single day. But sometimes you don't mind losing to certain people, and I think Shelby, in a sense of her personality and her character, she's certainly one of those for me.